Hello, leader. I've seen it so many times. You hired someone and then you realize, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? This person is not meeting my expectations. This person is not showing up the way I thought they would. This person is needing a lot more hand-holding than I ever expected that they would. Yes, you guessed it. Something went wrong in the interview process, and more likely, no one did any reference checks. Not taking the time to check those references is the biggest hiring mistake I see with my clients. Let's make sure that you don't miss this critical step that always spills over and creates a multitude of disappointments for you and your whole team. Today, I'm sharing my favorite reference check questions and some follow-up questions to ensure that you get a clear understanding of who this candidate is and how they would fit into your small business. I'm also sharing what you should be thinking about when you are getting ready to ask a former employer to share their feedback with you about this candidate. Welcome to the Stacking Your Team podcast. If you are a woman who owns a small business and you'd like to learn how to lead your team so they don't need you to hold their hand, you are in the right place. I'm your host, Shelli Warren. I've led winning teams in retail, innovative technical teams at a Fortune 50 corporation, and coached many remote teams to win at work. And in case you're wondering, no one escapes team troubles, including me. You already know that the people side of running your business can be tough. I'm here to help. So let's jump into today's episode with a little reminder that the team that got you here may not be the team that will get you there. When I work with clients who are having performance issues, especially during the onboarding phase, I'll often ask them if they checked references before they hired their new team member. I get a mixed bag of responses. Some will say they did, and some sheepishly admit they did not. It's funny how we will ask for references to be submitted when people apply, but we don't always take the time to follow up. Asking key questions from people who have already worked with this candidate is priceless, especially if you ask insightful questions. Here are some of my favorites. What did you appreciate the most about this person? Now, when you ask this question, you need to be open to whatever it is they're ready to share. They could talk about that person's communication style, her attention to detail. Maybe she has an unbelievable ability to connect with customers. You should also hear about what her superpower is. Maybe she's a spreadsheet queen. Or maybe she's so calm during a crisis. Or maybe she has the ability to handle a heavy workload. Or maybe she was well respected throughout the organization because of her ability to collaborate and get along with a diverse set of players. Next question. How did she add value to your business in terms of major accomplishments? This is always an interesting question to ask, because you'll hear if and where she had impact or if she did not. You don't want mediocre performers, even if they did nail their interview. Next question. Did you feel that she could be trusted to deliver in her role? Now, this gets down to whether or not she fully understood the core role she played and how her work impacted the bottom line. Here's another one. If you increased her salary at any time, what compelled you to do so? Now, this question tells us what it was about her that they wanted to reward. Or if she's getting standard raises, just like everyone else on the team, well, she's therefore not standing out above the crowd. So either answer is always telling. Here's another one. Would you rehire her? Now, don't settle for just the straight yes or no answer on this one. You want to follow up with, Would you hire her into the same role, or would you hire into something different and let them tell you why? Want a few more questions to choose from? How do you feel she represented your business on your behalf? Now, this question is really important if you need someone to come into your business and be front-facing with your client and customers, or if they need to travel on your behalf. Here's another one. If there was something that she could improve upon, what would that be? Now, typically you're going to drive to this question during your interview. And that candidate should have shared with you already what they believe their opportunities are. But if this organization that you're getting the reference check from is reluctant to talk about any opportunity areas in the questions above, then pull it out using this question. And here's another one. Were there any issues with attendance or her not being accountable for mistakes? Now, this really speaks to work ethic, teamwork, and self-awareness. You want someone that understands their impact on the team and their ability to meet normal and reasonable expectations of being on a work team. Here's another one. How well did she work under pressure? Now, if you have a fast-paced business where priority setting is required every single day, maybe you have a bunch of fires that have to be put out often, or maybe you've got a client base that constantly is pulling people off task, then this question is a big one for you to ask. And here's my last favorite one. How well did she react or take action upon receiving feedback? Now, if your business requires this new person coming in to do their own training, like maybe there's a large learning component in the role where your marketplace has required you to be constantly upgrading with whatever is out there or whatever's on trend. Or if this person's going to be responsible for project management or introducing any kind of a new initiative, sometimes we refer to them as launches. Or if this person has specific portions of their role that they're constantly going to have to be learning, then they're going to be getting feedback, and we need to understand whether this person can listen to the feedback, react promptly to the feedback, and do so in a way that there is no drama. Now, it would be quite rare that somebody would set aside time to answer all of these questions. So you're going to need to use your intuition to gauge their sense of availability and then pull from the list of questions that are most meaningful to you. After all, you've already hosted a first interview, and most likely you've already done a second interview where you brought someone else in so that you had another point of view on this candidate. So these reference checks are really designed to address any apprehensions that you may have. Here's something else to consider. Reaching out to a former employer, requesting their time to provide feedback on someone you want to hire is a big ask. So be prepared to ask more than once. Be prepared to accommodate their schedule, and be prepared to have a set of questions to send them if they'd rather provide their input online or just simply in an email. But be prepared to not waste their time. I get asked a lot to provide reference checks for those who I formerly worked with, either in a workplace or maybe I was on a board with them. And most often I will comply. And I know that it's often my feedback that seals the deal for the job offer. So how do I know that? Well, because they tell me. They will also tell me that my input validated their hunch that this person will be a good fit or not. And I think I'm helpful in this situation because I'll come right out and ask them if they want to know more, especially if they don't ask insightful questions. Because I know not everyone has experience doing reference checks, or for hiring for that matter. So I'll offer it up to them because I want to be sure that they feel excited and assured to make that job offer to the person that I feel great about recommending. I also ask for clarifying information about the company and the role
so that I can envision this person in that role and consider how they could play to their strengths and add value for them. And hey, let's get real. My ego loves the idea that I know this person's getting a job offer before they do. Knowing that someone is going to get a call about their dream job, it just gives me goosebumps. So here's the thing. Due diligence for your hiring process includes checking references. I like to ask for references as part of the application trigger. I want the references when they apply, not the standard references provided upon request. If they don't provide them, they're out. And here's why. I want to be able to reach out for references easily, and I know that it may take up to a week to connect with that person. So having the contact information really allows me to be efficient. You're also looking for references from at least 3 people who can speak to this person's work and their overall impact to the business. You're also wanting this list to be a reflection of their career. If every reference is from the last place of employment, or if no reference is provided from the last place of employment, both situations are very telling. And hey, I am also giving you permission today that if you are keen to learn more about a candidate and yet you're not happy with the reference list they provided, ask them for more. You can ask for more references, or you can ask them for a character reference from a community leader or even a customer. If they're truly interested in joining your business, they will comply. So what if you're excited about your candidate and yet the reference checks leave you with that lunchbox letdown feeling and now you're confused? The person you met in the interview was fabulous. The reference checks were not. You need to trust the reference checks and move on to the next candidate.
Thanks for tuning into our series all about hiring. And if you tuned in to all 9 episodes, I have a gold star for you. If you missed one of them or any of them, just zip back into your podcast player and you'll see them all there back to back. Next week, I'm kicking off a new series all about hot button topics for small business owners. Let me help you make it easier to grow your team, hold your people accountable, and retain the very best people in your small business. I'm welcoming new people into my circle right now. And to quickly answer the most popular question that I get when I first meet someone, yes, it really is me who will be your advisor. You don't have to worry anymore about being duped again by joining a coaching program and then never seeing or rarely seeing that person again. Nope. It's really me who is on every group call, every training session, and every strategy session, including inside our team leader program, where your highly valuable team members get access to training, tools, and my coaching. So if you have a team of 5 or more at your brick and mortar or your online business, why not honor who you are and what you're driven to do by taking the next 6 months and joining the Leadership Lab or working with me one-on-one. It's the best way to go beyond the Stacking Your Team podcast. You get access to me and other incredible women who have a wealth of experience to share with you. Become a client, get the help you need, and then watch your team improve. Watch your calendar get freed up, and watch how adding a few simple structures into how you run your team will spill right over across your whole business. Apply today directly from the website or the link in the show notes. And one last thing, you're invited to come and join me at our next free live virtual workshop. I'm calling it the Team Tune-Up, and it's happening in early November. At the Team Tune-Up, we'll evaluate your team's performance, identify some challenges, and provide actionable solutions to set you on the path to success. Don't go into the final months of this year without being surrounded by people who are thriving in their roles. Let's work together, uncover what's holding you and your team back from greatness, and then put a plan together to get on track. Grab your seat at stackingyourteam.com/team tuneup. You know, leadership can be exciting challenging, and lonely at times. So don't go it alone. Let me help you create the team and the leadership structure that you've been craving. So until next time, remember, if you have a dream, you need a team. So let's get stacking yours today.